Monday. Here we go. Boston has entered the chat on not a Manic Monday, but a Red Sox Victory Monday. July 28th, here inside the Salem 5 studios, live. Boston has entered the chat. Travis Thomas, George Balekji. How about them Red Sox, baby? Woo!
Sound just like Jerry. Look, man, been a long time since a Victory Monday for the Sox.
Feels good.
And the improbable of all improbable against the Dodgers.
Feels
the way
good.
they won on Sunday.
Feels good,
Coming
man.
back.
Yeah.
Starting pitching didn't pan out. Bullpen shut it down. Chapman gets injured. Hicks steps up.
Keep going.
Roman Anthony, the kid with the big RBI triple.
Keep going.
It was a beautiful thing.
It was
We'll get into
beautiful. It was. We'll get all up through it. Plus, we'll talk Patriots, too. Last week, week 1 of training camp, George was there. It was all good. We saw puppies. We saw guys stretching, high-fiving each other, saying, we are going to get them this season. But this week, it's on. The pads come on. We got real football this week, George.
Can't wait to talk that, too.
We'll break that all down. Plus, my favorite segment ever of all time in television history, breakfast bets. Gambling heavily early in the morning. Sign me up, yes, please.
I know it's just turned 9 a.m. What you got in that mug there?
Breakfast bets.
And some parlays.
It's delicious. Breakfast of Champions. Plus, remember, you can catch a full hour of Boston Has Entered the Chat on Nesson, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., and Nesson Nation right here at 9 a.m. Email us at chat@nesson.com. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat, or call us. Leave us your voicemail, 617-790-0928. We want to hear from you, so get involved. Bring them on. George, let's start with those Red Sox, my friend. 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers this weekend. I was at Fenway all weekend long for these games. Fantastic energy. The only distraction I had was all the protest from the workers trying to get paid. But other than that, when it came to on that field, George, the energy, the fans, everything was electric in Fenway. It actually, I haven't been there for a playoff experience yet, but this is what I imagine playoff atmospheres feel like in Fenway. Hopefully we can get that this season.
And this was the type of weekend that displayed, again, what we knew with this team.
Yes.
They have fight. They stick in games. They'll find ways to win ugly, and they're fine with that. Now they'll put themselves in situations where it'll be ugly baseball, forcing them to win in this fashion. But what it was on Saturday, with Crochet being nails, aside for the 2 home runs let up, had 10 strikeouts, it was phenomenal. I mean, that was Shohei Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez.
He got rocked early, and then he settled.
The best hit. He missed on 2 pitches, and it was against the best bat in baseball.
That's right.
And it was against Teoscar Hernandez, who is a beast.
Yes.
And then, you know what? He was fine from that point on. But it was Jarren Duran with 2 triples and a double in that game. Then on Sunday, you go with extra base hits coming along. Roman Anthony with a RBI double on Saturday, RBI triple on Sunday. Cedane Rafael is stepping up and playing in second base. It's also the fact that, look, I think Walker Buehler, at this point, that's a case that we need to close as a starting pitcher, and the Red Sox need to find his role in a bullpen-type way, long-term out-getter. Just at this point, you can't rely on him to be a starting pitcher because he didn't have it. 5 walks, 3 earned runs, was getting shelled.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he only allowed 3 earned runs in that outing.
Me too.
But that happens. He gets pulled before 5 innings. The bullpen got the job done. Chapman comes in, did not have his best stuff, left with the back spasms. Jordan Hicks, where I was worried about his command, walks a batter, but then gets out and with the win. They're winning 1-run games. They're winning in extras. They've responded against the Dodgers after Friday night went wrong every which way it possibly could. And Bayo still pitched pretty well. This is a team that they, just when you don't believe in them, they show you and bring you back in with belief. As we saw them drop the first 2 series out of the break. Come home, it's against the Dodgers, who are struggling, but still the best lineup in baseball.
Yes.
With the best player in the world. Mookie Betts was back there for Sunday.
Sure did.
Right? And they beat them. 2 out of 3. They come out of that tough stretch going 4-5, and now it's at Minnesota against the Twins, then home against the Stros and the Royals.
Yep.
Just keep it up, and it's the same thing. You take 2 of 3. Okay, that's 6-6, your first 12 games out of the All-Star break.
Yes.
Still in that wild card spot. Room to breathe. That's how they have to keep attacking it. It's series by series, man. It's game by game.
I'm just so happy to have him back in the American League. Good God Almighty, because these Titans in the NL, I mean, they were stressing me out. 9 games against 3 of the top 5 teams in the NL. You have to be kidding me. And you go 4-5. And look, if, from the outside looking in, if you didn't watch the games, you would say 4-5. Well, what are you celebrating in Boston, right? But we all watch these damn games. There were no even in the wins, there was no comfortable wins in any of this. They were all grind out, You said it. They're fighters. They hang in these games. And listen, to go 4-5 here as opposed to a 2-7 or a 1-8, which at times we can all admit it felt like they were going to do. They didn't do that. So now you come back to the American League. George, I'm looking as we speak at the wild card standings in the American League. You got to be kidding me. 4 teams within a game and a half of each other for these 3 wild card spots. Yankees, which, by the way, we never wish injury on anyone. But that team without Aaron Judge, for however long that is, my friend.
And it's on his elbow. It just sounds like he'll be a DH when he returns.
Well, they said, no more first base for you ever, my friend. You're DH. But I'm just saying there could be maybe some ground to gain there. Then you had the Mariners, Rangers, all vying for these wild card spots. I mean, this was a huge series win for the Red Sox. After it, Alex Cora spoke about the brevity of winning that series against the Dodgers.
Shoot, it started with Toro, right? He put the ball in play, gets a hit, and the kid hits the ball off the wall, great base running play. And like I said yesterday, he's getting close, very close. And, he put some good swings yesterday. Today, he missed a few pitches early in the game, and then he got a pitch that, he can handle and hit out of the ballpark. I was joking with him. I don't know, you guys do the work. But I was like, man, every Sunday here since 2017, you've been good, I don't know what the numbers are. Probably I made that stuff up, but it feels like day game Sunday, Alex has crushed us in the past, and this year he's doing a good job.
How big a series win is this?
It's just like, any other for us, just go out there and play. We played 3 tough teams. We're 4-9, 4-5, I don't know. We just keep playing good baseball. That's our job. That's what we're going to keep doing, and, we just got to get ready for tomorrow.
I mean, how much did you enjoy the entire dynamic of the weekend? 2 good teams fighting at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, the environment was great. The fans, it was very similar to Philly, kind of like in between pitches, very quiet. Like everybody was expecting something big to happen, a big pitch, a big play, a big swing, and that's what it's all about. And we got a young team, we know that, and for how big of a deal people were making playing Chicago and the Phillies and the Dodgers, it was a great learning experience for them, regardless of the results. And because of these 9 games, they're going to be better. I don't think the stage is too big for them. But, we made some mistakes. We didn't win too many games. We keep learning. But I think out of this week and a half, there's a lot of positives too. And you saw it, we had to make adjustments defensively. The kid at second, if you go back to the Philly game, he made 2 great plays to save us, and that play at the end, that was great, and it sucks because he's the best defensive center fielder in the big leagues, and but right now we need him to play second more than we actually wanted to. But he's willing to do it. He's all about winning. We move people around. They will do it, and there's where we at.
All right, George, let's address the elephant in the room now. I mean, after this series, really the showing against all these NL teams, but let's specifically talk about the Dodgers, because we brought this up Friday going into the series. If they have a good showing, if they can win the series, whether you sweep the Dodgers or take 2 out of 3, which we know now they have, does that put pressure on the front office to be more aggressive for the trade deadline in a couple days? Now we have to revisit that conversation.
And it comes up where we saw a guy that they needed with the bat they needed, at a position they needed, and Josh Naylor go with the team that's right behind him in the wild card race, the Mariners.
Devastating.
For a couple of top 16 prospects. That's something the Red Sox likely were picking up the phone on, but who knows how the deals went, the conversations went. Yes, they still need to add. They need to add a starting pitcher because Walker Buehler's not panning out to be a starting pitcher. How many more starts can you put? How many more times can you be lucky to get out of starts by him? He was phenomenal against the Phillies. Absolutely amazing against them, and it went to waste. And then against the Dodgers, he's regressed to his means. We'll see what we get from Lucas Giolito and how he is. If he can just get somewhat back on track this upcoming series against the Twins, they still need a first baseman and a bat. They need a right-hand bat no matter what, and they need power. Because the lineup can't continue to be Roman Anthony leading off, Alex Bregman, and Jarren Duran. You need better in your 3 spot. Maybe Duran goes back to lead off. It makes the lineup deeper. And they need a starting pitcher. Look, this team has fight but they have a lot of flaws. When they're tapping into their potential and winning ugly, they play like the Royals were in like 2015, right?
Yeah.
I can't see the Royals team, but that team played small ball baseball.
They leaned into the small ball. That was part of their brand.
What we saw Friday night against the Dodgers with their bats is what stood out of it was smart, sound, professional hitting.
Yes.
They were down to fly out if it advanced a runner and allowed him to tag up instead of swinging and missing time and time again like we've seen with the Red Sox.
Sure.
Where the Red Sox that's a team that would go 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
They leave guys stranded. The Dodgers showed the little things that take winning baseball, couldn't put it all together. The Red Sox, I don't think they could tap into that at this point in the season, but that's where their flaws are. But the strengths is their fight, is the way they keep it to the end, is their versatility. He points out Ceddanne Rafaela playing second. He was at second base 3 of the last 4 games, and he was shining there.
Yeah.
You're taking the best center fielder in the game, moving him to the infield, and then you have the outfield with Jarren Duran going to center, Roman to left, and you're lucky you have that depth behind them, and maybe it can work.
Yeah.
But this is a team, they need to help themselves. They need more talent in the rotation. They definitely need more talent in their lineup as well.
I think that's well said. By the way, you mentioned Naylor going to the Mariners. Great point by you. That was devastating. That's a guy I thought would fit perfectly with the Red Sox. A real everyday first baseman with pop in his bat, with, by the way, playoff experience. Don't forget that part. That's so important. Another guy now off the market who I wanted. I don't know if this was pie in the sky to begin with, but I always thought Seth Lugo made a lot of sense for the Red Sox to go get. As you talk about this second starter to complement Garrett Crochet, a 1-2 punch. Lugo's a guy who started, who came out of the bullpen. He's done everything in his career. He ends up re-signing, so he's not going anywhere. So that's another name now off of the trade deadline market for the Sox. But we know there are other guys. But I agree with you in terms of need. First baseman, if you could get it with a bat, certainly, I think actually probably above that, I would put that second starter. Because watching this team play, you might as well just lean into your strength. Garrett Crochet is an absolute ace in every sense of the word. We've seen him bail this team out time and time again this season, including this weekend, okay? That was deemed, it was supposed to be Clayton Kershaw against Garrett Crochet. No, it was Garrett Crochet stealing the spotlight like he always does. That's a true ace. So if you can get me a number 2 guy to complement that, and I can get into a series with you come the postseason, and that's my 1-2 punch, good luck beating the Red Sox in the American League. I talked about this. No one's winning in the American League outside of the Blue Jays, and they're just hot. I don't even know if that's sustainable. It's a talented team, don't get me wrong, but they don't strike fear in my heart. So right now I'm looking at the Red Sox as a team that if you can get in, you can go on a deep run. You're likely going to do that with pitching. So now, if I'm kind of looking at power rankings of team needs, I need that number 2 starter, to your point. I want that first baseman. And then I'm always in the market for arms in the bullpen. Give me able bodies, able arms in the bullpen.
Because you know what matters? It's getting into the postseason, but then it's a guy who are you giving the ball to game 3 and game 4 of the series?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what you're going to get with game 1 and game 2 from Crochet and Bayo. They're shaping up to be obviously the 1-2. But what makes a series swing is a bullpen.
Yes.
But it's also, you need 4 arms you can trust. They don't have to be elite.
Sure.
But by the time you get to the 4 or 5 spot in your rotation, you need to trust them that they can go the distance, give you a QS, just give you a quality start, no more than 3 earned runs, go the distance, and just put it in a way where you can win. But to the point, too, those bats were ice cold on Friday.
Facts.
We still see the bats get cold, then we see them get hot. But again, consistency. What am I looking for? What have I said to you all along, T? Consistently good baseball. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, the youngster, the Roman Empire, Roman Anthony, this is how you know the young man is special. The Sox, obviously, to do all the things we're talking about, are going to need him to continue to be great at this young stage of his career. Alex Bregman, after the game, talked about how special this kid could be. You want to talk about someone in the know? For him to say this about Roman Anthony really means a lot. Take a listen.
For sure, obviously, simplifies your approach, right? You try and hit the ball in the air to the big part of the field, and Roman has been awesome. 4 times on base last night, gets on his first at bat today, and then hits a big triple. It's awesome. He's doing it. He's going to be a special player. So it's definitely fun hitting in front of or behind him in this lineup, and reminds me of earlier in my career when Yordan Alvarez got called up. that's my player comp for him.
What a player comp. By the way,
man.
Brady's
Jordan
a guy,
Alvarez in 2019.
What a player comp, though.
Same thing as Roman. I mean, he played around 90 games
Yeah.
and just came up mashing. He's been one of the best bats. Struggling this year. He's been one of the best bats in baseball since.
Also, how about Breggy, man? Like,
Sounds like a manager.
yeah, he does. Hey,
Four
you
times
don't
on
know.
base.
Future could be. He could be. He
I mean,
does actually sound like that.
yeah,
and all the knowledge in that guy.
He's
like,
helping
he
out
could be.
Pete Fatsi and his hitting staff. He's helping out the pitching staff.
be.
He's a guy that's on the iPad, sees the little things. Like
Yeah.
he is a player's coach.
No doubt. He could be a manager one day, but no time soon, Breggy, if you're watching.
Yeah, keep
we
playing.
need you. Because right now, look, I told you I was at Fenway. I'm watching these games, and I think it's different being in person than on TV for little nuance things. I'm watching him run the bases. I'm like, he is not healthy.
I know.
He's soldiering through this.
Yeah.
But he is still, even at not 100%, hey, get on my back.
Yeah.
Red Sox, I got us.
That's
Him and
right, give him
Crochet
credit.
are carrying this team.
And it's something too where, you know, you watch him when he's running the base path. I'm like, just DH him. Like,
Yeah.
take him off of third. But obviously they need him with Marcelo
yes.
Meyer going down with the injury.
Yes.
And no matter what, he still has to run. I'd rather just him limit to running and not have to move laterally.
Yeah.
But that's a guy, bad throw by Carlos Narvaez at a point in the series, saves him. And what
Yes.
could have went into the outfield and could have been a terror again. He's so important. And the way he's running, like his legs I feel like they're like 65, 70%.
Yeah.
You could tell like he cannot open up as much as he does.
he can't.
And he's still such a high impact guy.
Carrying the team,
Yes.
bro. Him and Crochet
They're
are
saviors.
as advertised. Yes.
They are saviors in their spots. You said that. And
Yeah,
I go,
I
you're
did.
right. And I go, but how long can you survive
I know.
by relying on them to save you? But that's not the conversation. They are saviors for this season.
They are, but to your point,
I
get
want
them
help.
help.
Yes.
Get them help.
I don't need the cape to come on and two men to
Yes.
put on the cape every time.
That's right.
Give him some support, man.
What did he go into the phone booth and change? Sometimes go into the phone booth and just come out Clark Kent. I
Look,
don't need your Superman every time.
I hate to talk bad about the guy, but Bruce Wayne could use more help than Chief Gordon. Like, come on, Chief. Get your police department together.
Chief Gordon catching strays.
I'm
bro.
sorry, man. R.I.P. If you haven't seen the movie yet and I spoiled it for you, shut up. It's been out forever.
All right, well, we do bets at breakfast and we spoil movies for you here on Boston is
What we
in the
got?
chat.
Sorry I told you to shut up, guys. Sorry.
You know what else we do? We take your phone calls
Yes.
where we don't want you to shut up. 617-790-0928. Here's another thing we do. We talk about Patriots training camp with pads on, because that's what we're seeing this week. So we'll talk about that when we come back. But remember this, we were talking about the trade deadline. We've got all the trade deadline coverage right here, wall to wall, live. Starts with us. Boston has entered the chat 8 a.m. on Nesson, right here 9 a.m. on Nesson Nation, and then at 10 a.m. on Nesson, 310 to the left, live. And then how about this? The trade deadline special, 5 p.m. on Nesson, live, breaking down all the moves that the Red Sox made. That's right, we're speaking it into existence. We'll be right back. Be here when we get back. Welcome back to Boston has entered the chat. All right, George, this week, all we're going to hear is, ready, down, hood, hood, Drake May.
He's got better cadence. He's got better cadence than that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be all
You
that
like-
with pads on.
You like my snap count?
No, not one bit. That's why you're a receiver and a safety back in the day, not a QB.
Not a good one either.
Look, man, the pads are finally going to come on. We're going to see real football as close to it as possible.
Yes.
But when hitting starts in training camp, that's when you really see what this team
Yes.
can look like. And you
Yes.
know, for Mike Vrabel, this is the most important week for him.
Yeah.
He's really going to get that first taste. Cool, met you in the meetings, weight room, seen you on the practice field. Now the pads are on. He's really going to find out what type of guys he got.
What has he got on the offensive line? Because, look, everything starts and ends. They are the alpha and the omega as far as I'm concerned. I feel confident in the Patriots' defense. I feel confident in Drake May, year 2, his development. I feel extremely confident in this coaching staff. Vrabel, McDaniels, we know the names, okay? But this offensive line, I always say this, that they can't get any worse than what we've seen in the past few years, and I do believe that. So by almost default, they will be improved. But my question is, how much improved will this offensive line be? Are we talking about a good offensive line around here? Because that would be great, George. Or are we just talking about competent offensive line play? That's my question, and I want to start to at least have an idea of how to answer it at the end of this week. Does that make sense for the offensive line?
And that's one where, with the pads coming on, we will see what Will Campbell, how he matches up with the Harold Landry and Keon White.
Yes.
See how Morgan Moses looks, we know what to get. It's also, and I'll keep bringing it up, the interior of the offensive line. How does Garrett Bradbury do against Milton Williams and Christian Barmore? Because if he can't get the job done, okay, how does Jared Wilson, a rookie, do to that?
Right.
You either have a dispensable vet or you have a rookie getting his first licks of NFL football taking on those two guys.
Sure.
And at left guard, too, is it Cole Strange? Is it Caden Wallace?
Can Cole Strange even play, George?
Is it Jared Wilson? He could play. Can he stay healthy?
Well, can he stay healthy?
And that's
Good
what the
point.
question mark's been with him.
Right.
We are going to find out a lot in the trenches with this
Yeah,
team.
we are.
And then the same thing on the outside with the wide receivers as well, though.
Yeah.
How does Stephon Diggs look when Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis with pads on can put their hands on him, really disrupt his
Can
timing?
he move? Are they allowing him to move laterally?
They're
yet,
letting
though?
him. Oh yeah, they're letting him
All right.
participate in 11-on-11s.
All right.
But that'll be a thing too. Okay, is he fully participating when
Right.
the pads come on and hit it?
That's what I wanna
Because that's a
see.
whole different beast. Certain
Right.
drills individually they hold him out on.
Yeah.
But 7-on-7, 11-on-11s.
He'll be out there.
He's been a full participant, which is good for him. But Pop Douglas, Kyle Williams, how do you guys do against these cornerbacks who are only getting better? And that's what it's going to be. It starts at the line of scrimmage. How does offensive line look? Biggest question mark of this whole team.
Sure.
And I understand all the additions they made. Will Campbell's a question mark if he can last for long-term at left tackle.
Yes.
We don't know what they have at left guard. Center's up in the air. And right tackle Morgan Moses, you need him to be healthy and continue to produce at his old age.
Well, you mentioned Will Campbell. He spoke about how, hey, I'm getting better every day going against these absolute monsters on the defensive line. Take a listen.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Keon's, extremely talented guy, but and I'm just super fortunate to not, have a guy like Keon, but not only him, guys like B. Moore, Milt, Casey, Harold, a lot of those guys have played a lot more football than me. So anything that, that they can help me with, give me tips and things that they see that I'm doing that can help my game and, just help me get better in any way, that's what a rookie asks for. So I'm super fortunate to have that.
Will, is there one of those guys that maybe has given you more? Like just whether it's Milton, somebody who just like constantly talking to you, telling you?
They're all great dudes. I mean, so it's all, if I go ask, they're going to tell me. And, vice versa. If they were to ask me something, I'm going to tell them, it's just kind of, the culture we're trying to create around here, just, guys helping each other out. And, they've been super good to me.
George, I can't wait till these games are real. It feels so good. Do you know yesterday was the last Sunday that we will have with no football in our lives?
There's football this Thursday.
Well, yeah, just for yesterday, for Sundays. Yesterday was the last
back.
Sunday we won't have any football until February of 2026.
It's back.
Can we just clap it up for that?
Toby, you're clapping.
Here's to you, football. Here's to you, Patriots football. Let's get louder. Here's to you, Drake May. Here's to you, Mike Vrabel.
It's back, baby. That's the Bronx spike right
I cannot wait. Man, no more 4-win seasons. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't talk too soon. But that's part of it. And you hear Will Campbell speaking there.
Yes.
That's what brings into it, where that's a guy that's a rook that's excited to learn.
Yeah.
And learn from his failures. He brings it up, his debut in the SEC. Test out the hands, Toby. Test out the hands.
Here we go. And woo!
Easy.
Smooth.
He's excited to get after it with pros and vets and to learn from them. He'll get his butt whooped by Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, who have been in the league. Harold Landry, who's a vet.
Dogs.
Keon White, who's entering year 3.
Dog.
And then he's going to learn from a Morgan Moses, a Garrett Bradbury.
Yeah.
From a Josh McDaniels and a Doug Marrone.
Right.
He's excited to be a student of the game now developing at the NFL level, and that's huge.
Okay.
You guys saw the hands, too. Next time I'll bring it in, you always got to look it in for
Yeah.
ball security.
By the way, it's live. It's spotlights in here. You could have lost it in the light. No, my man is prime time. Prime time. All right, let's talk about this. We're all on this high. We just clapped it up for football. We're saying the offensive line's improved. The defense is going to be good. We love Mike Vrabel. Let me bring it down.
Yeah,
Debbie
the mood can
Downer
come
style.
down.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Jalen Polk. Javon Baker. Were these wasted draft picks? Because it sure does feel like it, buddy.
Yeah.
Damn it!
I don't sweat Javon Baker. He was a late draft pick. You're throwing a dart at the wall.
It's still a wasted pick.
That's fine. He's a day 3 pick. He's a day 3 pick. It's the fact that Jalen Polk was taken where he was taken, And ahead of, let's just start with Ladd McConkey.
Oh,
That's
God.
it. And Ladd McConkey could have been that slot. And maybe you still end up with Stephon Diggs. But the long-term construction of this receiving room would still make sense with a Kyle Williams who can line up wide out in alignment, is good down the field, where Ladd is that reliable slot receiver underneath.
That would
and
work.
then again, we really want to get into the Nerd Talker roster building. Then that makes it where you can trade a Kendrick Bourne and put him in a package to get something you need, like a left tackle, to get something you need, like, some other skill positions, maybe a tight end, maybe a running back, maybe address the offensive line or build defensive line depth as well. That's what all this could have been. So the Jalen Polk one, that's the one that stings the most, man.
What's going on there, though? Because you had a take that you thought it was because maybe he's out of shape right now. Do you still feel that way? Are you hearing anymore? Like, what the hell's going on? Why isn't this guy on the field?
There aren't the updates of where, he is after his offseason shoulder surgery, right? And that's where my mind went immediately was the surgery, but you would still be on the PUP NFI.
Yes.
And you can still be on the practice field. You're on the lower field. You're not in shape. You haven't passed conditioning testing.
Dude.
Now, Mike Vrabel came out and said it was something, sore muscles, soft tissue, something that they want to monitor. But when he was talking about Jalen Polk and the injury, there was a part of him where he'll talk about other guys and glow about their hard work. He wasn't bringing that on with Polk, and he was saying hopefully he'll get to that point.
That's awful.
And that's where I go, we'll see. We will see.
Listen, bro, this is another topic for another chat, and that's fine. Maybe we can do it tomorrow. But this feels, both of these receivers, if they are wasted draft picks, which it sounds like that's the direction we're headed in if we're not there already, that's a fireable offense. I mean, am I the only one? It's like, I'm pointing at this like, how can you get away with this? Those are two wasted draft picks at a position of need, and for years, eons, ages, we blamed Bill Belichick for the drafting and non-development of wide receivers.
Yeah.
Can't blame him now. I'm looking at you, Elliot Wolf.
It's on, and this is also, too, where the Patriots were at 34. They traded back with the Chargers. Chargers came up and took Ladd. And then they dropped back to 37, ended up with Jalen Polk. In their eyes, they got the guy they wanted still and got more draft capital. But Ladd McConkey was instant impact,
he was a
reliable slot.
Yes. Louise.
He was the next Jacoby Myers. And that's what you thought you had with Jalen Polk. But then the red flags come up on what he was in a way uncoachable. And even at that, too, with the signings they did this offseason, they still need D-line depth. They could have gotten Braden Fisk. They need depth in their secondary. They could have gone Cooper DeJean. They could have gone Kamari Lassiter.
Yeah.
It was the guys that Polk was taking over. It's the same pain of the N'Keal Harry draft pick, the guys he was taking over, all those all-pro receivers and pro bowlers. That's what it feels like with Jalen Polk.
All right, so we have this week of camp, and then we're getting close to that joint practice with the Commanders, too. Is there anything kind of leading up to that joint practice that you need to see once we get there? Hey, we're in the joint practice. Team looks good. Maybe it's offensive line, looks competent. Drake May seems comfortable, pre-snap. Like, what are you sort of seeing as we head towards that, the work with the Commanders?
I mean, it still starts with how does that offensive line play?
Yeah.
But then how does his defense look against Jaden Daniels? He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league after one rookie year. But it's his threat with his legs. It's how good he is as a downfield passer. How does this defensive scheme match up with a team like that? 4 pass rushers. You're going to go man on the outside. How did the safeties look on the back end? That's what it would come down to. God. And that's what I'm watching. It's because the power of that team is the offense.
Yeah.
So that's when the eyes are, okay, this is a defense that will have to carry the team.
And we all think they're capable of doing that. We think.
I think so.
Certainly the first month of the season helps.
Yes.
Schedule-wise.
Yes.
And then there's also some, it gets soft midway through as well. We do think the defense will be the strength of this team. But I will say this offensively, particularly if the offensive line holds up, sounds like we think it could. I think as the season goes on, because football season now feels a lot like the NBA or baseball. Like the regular season's really long now in the NFL, and it didn't feel like that for a long time. It does now.
For better or worse.
These games,
I don't think that's good if it feels
I don't either, but it does.
We like more football, but.
Yes, but. So I say that to say, I think by the time, and we'll see if this team makes a playoff push. Who the hell knows? But I think by the time we're getting towards the end of the season, I would not be shocked if the offense either catches up to the defense or becomes like where we're sitting around here like this Drake May kid could be really, really good. Because it takes longer for an offense to kind of gel and the nuance of
always.
offense. It just takes a longer time.
And that's always football. The defense is pretty simple. It's man up. This is your gap.
Yes.
You're guessing what the opposing team is doing, where
Vrabel's
the offense is all about
coach.
timing and Josh McDaniels' flow.
Yes.
It's also where they could get into. It's that stretch of New Orleans, Tennessee, Cleveland, Atlanta. That's when we can see the offense really catch steam.
That's the soft part I was talking about in that schedule. I can't wait till we get there so we can get some dubs for this season. Hey, coming up on Boston Has Entered the Chat, we'll switch gears and talk about what's trending in the world of sports. And then we're also gambling heavily on this fine television program right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Catch us every day, 8 a.m. on Nesson and 9 a.m. right here on Nesson Nation. All right, here's the beauty of Boston Has Entered the Chat. Usually this is where I say, time now to see what's trending in the world of sports.
Sports.
I like that reverb. But we're a show for the people, by the people.
Yes.
We always say call us, 617-790-0928. And wouldn't you know it, I'll be doggone. Young Aiden called us, wanted to get a takeoff on the Red Sox, so we'll do that, then we'll get into what's trending. Aiden, take it away, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name's Aiden from North Stellington, Connecticut, and I was wondering what you guys have heard about Durant getting traded to the Guardians. Thanks.
I mean, we've heard Duran's name in every team, it feels like. He said Guardians on this one. We saw reports over the weekend that the Padres, who have been flirting with Jarren Duran since the beginning of time, it feels like, made a deal or made an offer for Dylan Cease and a catching prospect for Jarren Duran, and the Red Sox turned it down allegedly. So, you know, Guardians rumors doesn't shock me at all. I don't know what's going to happen, Aiden. Thanks for calling us with Jarren Duran. But I know this guy's a spark plug of this team. I've been saying that all along, George. Certain things he brings to this team you can't quantify. I don't want to see him go, although at the same time, I know I'm on the fence here. I understand the business too. And if he's the guy that has to go to get me a second arm as a starter, or some more arms in the bullpen, or a first baseman with pop in his bat, so be it. But at the same time, I'm also cool if they keep him because I see the value he brings to the team. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's. I think the most value for him is in the clubhouse too. I mean, his defense is taking a step back. Everything about him, his bat is taking a step back. His job on the base path and what he does there. But that's why I said when we opened the show talking about the Red Sox, when Roman Anthony is like publicly talking about Jarren Duran as a mentor, now you have Alex Bregman and that can quell that. And if you bring in, and if you trade out Jarren Duran and you get that number 2 arm that they desperately need, because I don't know what's going to happen to Lucas Giolito. I don't know what he's going to end up being if he falls back to his means of being, you know, a number 4 starter. And Brian Bayo, who was good and having a lot of swing and misses off of his changeup when he started on Friday, if he continues to be a number 3, and that's fine. But they definitely need that next arm of the rotation. I mean, what we saw Sunday with Buehler, it's not going to cut it. The bullpen can't always bail out the Sox like they did. Jarren Duran will continue to swirl around in trade rumors because he is a 5-tool player.
Yes.
He does have a good bat. He is good defensively, and he is great on the base paths, and he is a leader, and he's mature, and he has team control.
Yeah.
For the Guardians, though, like, what is the offer? Is it Bieber? Like, I would take a Dylan Cease over him. I know Cease's ERA has ballooned, but he still strikes out a ton of batters, and that's a guy that is a proven starting pitcher. But Bieber would be a reclamation project.
Sure.
I don't think he goes to the Guardians. It's coming up quick, man. Trade deadline is this Thursday.
And that's the name. Duran's the consistent name.
Immediate impact bat that teams that want to get pushed over the hump can get, and that's
right.
Jarren Duran.
That's right. 617-790-0928. Leave us your name and what you want to talk about. We always get to you here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. All right, let's keep it going here with what's trending. Aroldis Chapman, we'll just stick with the pitchers. He left in the win over the Dodgers with back tightness. Do you have any concerns here? I'll be honest. Alex Cora. Now, some of this stuff.
Let me answer yes.
Some of this stuff, this is what managers do. They say, hey, nothing to see here. He's fine.
He spoke to the media after the game, which is a good sign always.
Which is a great sign. I don't have a ton of concern because I think they'll give him the necessary rest to make sure that he's okay long term. Honestly, not trying to be mean, this felt like an old man injury to me.
How dare you?
As an old man myself, my back, my neck, and my back. Like it happens. It got tight. They got him out. He's going to be okay, I think, knock on wood. Do you feel the same way?
If Chapman was sitting at this table, he'd put up a pot and a kettle. Now, look who's talking, old man. No, Yes, I was concerned. I am. It's still back spasms. It's a back with a guy that can throw up to 100 miles per hour.
Yes, Lord.
But there were the rumors swirling around. He was throwing up in the dugout before going out there. Maybe he was battling food poisoning. So if that is, I want you to imagine. You know me. What did we go back 2 months ago? May. I was down bad. I was out for a week.
You were
with food poisoning.
You were.
I could barely get up and walk.
We thought it was E. coli eating you from the inside out.
Thank God it wasn't. I cannot imagine throwing anything, let alone hurling a baseball 95 miles per hour. Ooh. Yeah, the dehydration, the fatigue that's going to settle in, and your back is going to be affected.
Right. You were hurling something. It wasn't no damn baseball.
If it is, in fact, him dealing with some food poisoning or something like that, this is best case because that's okay, fine. That is something that happens when you throw a baseball.
Yeah.
His velo wasn't even close to what it's been this season either. We knew he was not right. Leaves a back spasms. I hope long term it's nothing. Anything with the back scares me for any athlete. But especially Aroldis Chapman, because that is a guy that will be a free agent after the season. That's a guy that is actually, I think, their most valuable trade piece they can move.
Yeah.
Because he would be a rental for a team that wants to push over the top, but he's crucial for the Red Sox. Again, they created space between them and the Mariners. They're in that second wild card spot. They need Aroldis Chapman for success.
Yeah.
I hope it's nothing. I hope it's a whole lot of nothing.
All right, let's move on. It's too early to be talking about hurling, ralphing, and puking in the morning.
You brought it up.
This is my fault. How about this? Cam Newton and Jalen Hurts kind of beefing, but not really. Because Jalen Hurts is just chilling with the Super Bowl ring like, what did I do? So this all started with Ryan Clark on TV, on that show he does on ESPN. They're doing all these player comps. What's Jalen Hurts like? What's he like? They landed on Cam Newton, okay? Then it became, well, you know, Jalen Hurts is better because he's actually won a Super Bowl and he's been to 2. And Cam Newton, we saw him get to 1, and it was all his fault why they lost. Cam Newton gets wind of this, goes on his podcast and says, hold on just a second. I mean, the only reason they were in the Super Bowl was because of moi. Mm-hmm. So now you got a back and forth with him and Ryan Clark and Cam Newton and blah, blah, blah. Let's just let Cam tell it, would you?
That we want to attack the messenger, Ryan Clark. Okay, let's pull up your stats. Second team All-SEC, we cannot relate. Undrafted in 2002, we cannot relate. Then you have 1 Pro Bowl in 2011, we cannot relate. So if you want to unlock Petty Cam, and everything that Cam Newton has ever said on this 4th and 1 show has always been backed by merit and logic, but some way, shape, form, people keep attacking Cam, the person, or why he didn't jump on the fumble, why he didn't do this, or comparing and contrasting. So when I compare and contrast you guys' statistics and Dan Orlovsky, never mind.
I didn't see the end. Look, I don't know the origin statement made by Ryan Clark. Like, I tried to find the video, couldn't find it.
I mean,
but
it wasn't a diss.
When Ryan Clark, in response to this video, said, look, man, yeah, you're more gifted than me. And, like, he basically he ceded. He was like, I'm good. I'm stepping. He waved the white flag. Like, I'm good, bro. I don't want the smoke. Yeah. Cam Newton, Heisman winner. Woo. Technically 3 national championships, 1 in JUCO, was on that Florida team, but then obviously took that Auburn team to win it. He was the only guy that was drafted on that Auburn team and won a national championship.
That Panthers team was trash. It was Cam Newton and a bunch of dudes.
The worst thing is a revisionist history of people trying to share literal screenshots and go, who was Cam with? Look, they had all these Pro Bowlers, all these old pro players. The Pro Bowlers, Cam Newton, Greg Olsen, great tight end, great tight end, especially when he was a Cam. Jonathan Stewart was all pro that year because of Cam. Mike Tolbert, Thomas Davis, K'Wan Shore, Kirk Coleman, Luke Kuechly, Josh Norman. It was Cam Newton, his tight end, both his running backs, and 2 offensive linemen. Compared to Jalen Hurts, who had 2 all-world tackles, one of the best centers in the game, one of the best guards. They were so good. Mekhi Becton was a good starting offensive lineman. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, and then that defense was absolutely elite.
Lord have mercy.
Look, credit to and I like this argument, and I don't want to take away from Jalen Hurts. Cam Newton, when it comes to talent, and him in that 2015 MVP winning year, was a one-of-one talent.
Facts.
And go watch Cam Newton in the open field running with the football. Like his passing, his accuracy. Ted Ginn was his #1 receiver.
That's disgusting.
Ted Ginn.
Disgusting.
Devin Funches was a contributor on that offense.
Fat and
That's
slow.
how bad the wide receiving room was.
Yes.
Greg Olsen was great. Cam Newton was an MVP with his arm. And then go watch him in the open field. He would kill anyone in today's game.
Facts.
But also with the way that he played, by the time we saw him get to New England, his body was broken down.
Yep.
Because he played like a mother effer.
Yeah.
He'd put his head down and run. Jalen Hurts' specialty is a tush push. Cam Newton's specialty was everything as a quarterback as well. If he was in today's game, he was Josh Allen before Josh Allen.
Sure was.
That was Cam Newton. If he was at his peak right now, with Lamar Jackson, with Josh Allen, with what Jaden Daniels is too, man, it would just be every Sunday watching football with those QBs.
We agree.
I don't want to take away from Jalen Hurts, but for people to be out there and take away for what Cam Newton was that year, man, that he was in college. And for a while after that, too, one of the most special talents in all of football. That Broncos defense was a buzzsaw they ran into.
It was an all-time defense. Von Miller was on another planet during that time. I would say this. I agree with everything you said, Cam Newton, a player. I would take him over Jalen Hurts. But I admire Jalen Hurts' mental fortitude.
Yes.
I admire the leadership. I would see Cam Newton losing big games and put the towel over his head and sit on the bench and sulk like a little baby. I've never seen that from Jalen Hurts. He's a leader. I'll give him the edge.
That's my thing. I don't want to take away from what Jalen Hurts is as a leader and as a player, but for people taking away what Cam Newton was, like, no. And I'm not the biggest Cam Newton fan, but what he was is a special talent, especially that 2015 year. And again, Greg Olsen, good tight end. It was Ted Ginn, Devin Funches, I think Jericho Crotchery.
Who?
Yes, was actually their second best receiver that year. Ted Ginn and Jericho Crotchery.
Yeah, exactly. We can mispronounce your name because no one cares about you, brah. By the way, speaking of something no one cares about, last news and trending. The Celtics, I'm looking at these odds, are now the betting favorites to sign Ben Simmons. Oh, would you look at that? We're out of time. Too bad. I mean, Ben Simmons sucks.
Look, man.
This offseason is driving me up a wall with the Celtics. I understand it. I mean, George is, at this point, a CPA with as many times as he's broken down the second apron and all the money and the new cap and I get it. But this offseason sucks. George Niang, Luka Garza, now Ben Simmons. This is real. Is this a Twilight Zone? Am I being punked? Like, what's happening to the Celtics this offseason? I hate it, and it stinks.
This is the point of the offseason. And this is how they have to reconstruct and find a roster that can play basketball this year. Because they are paying the tax. Literally and figuratively, this one with basketball talent. The fact they're even considering Ben Simmons, who hates basketball, who doesn't want to play. This past season, he played with the Clippers, most of it. He played 20 minutes a game, 5 points, 5.5 assists he averaged. Look, good paint at his peak, was a great paint defender, great ball handler, good at attacking the rim. He doesn't have any confidence. He doesn't want to play basketball. He was pointing to a back injury with the Sixers. It was after that elimination against the Hawks. He became a shell of himself.
What peak are we talking about?
And here's my thing. I don't know the personal relationships. Again, for how much Jaylen Brown has busted his ass to get to this point in his career, to become an All-NBA player, become a Supermax player, Finals and Eastern Conference MVP, NBA champion, and a guy that's one of the best at his position. How much he's busted his ass. You think he wants to be in a locker room with a guy that doesn't want to play basketball?
Exactly.
You think Joe Mazzulla wants to coach a guy that doesn't want to play basketball? Within a half a day, Ben Simmons would be broken and out of here. It's the same energy we brought for Ben Simmons when he was with the Sixers and the Nets.
Yes.
I'm keeping that with the Celtics. I hope Ben Simmons is all right with his mental health. I hope he's okay with everything.
Yeah.
I don't see him being a fit for the Celtics, and I think that would be a signing that's detrimental to actually building a team and a winning culture here.
I do too. Still to come here. Here we go. We have some tweets. Look at this.
The March 2026 Celtics. It's Thanos with Max Shulga, Hugo Gonzalez, George Niang, Ben Simmons, Nemish Queta. It is what are those?
Gross.
What
Infinity Stones?
The Infinity Stones. All right. My condolences to Hugo being in this. It's the Infinity Stones of mid. It's the Infinity Stones of mid. I like Hugo Gonzalez. I think he could be really good.
The Infinity Stones of mid is
I like
hilarious.
Nemish Queta. I think he could be a good backup. But the rest of that, it's the Infinity Stones of mid.
I saw they're talking about Time Lord maybe coming back, Robert Williams. And you know what, to that, I say great.
I guess.
I don't have to have Luka Garza. Cool, I'll take him.
No.
I still have to.
Yes.
Oh, God. Thank God, coming up on the show, we are gambling heavily. Because I've always said this. Eggs, pancakes, orange juice, breakfast bets.
Where's the coffee?
Coffee. That's the breakfast
With
of
special
champions.
spice in the coffee.
Whatever you need. As long as breakfast bets are involved,
I'm in.
we're in. Boston has entered the chat. Come gamble with us. It's not too early. What's the problem? We'll be right back. Roll with us. Yes, the most important meal of the day. Breakfast bets. Here on
favorite
Boston has
side.
entered. It's the
My favorite
best.
side.
It's the best. here on Boston has entered the chat. But before we get into the gambling, we're going to gamble on the MLB pennant race pre-trade deadline, because you know it's subject to change after that. But first, a show for the people, by the people, 617-790-0928. We have a voicemail, my friend. How about this? Steve from Lowell wants to weigh in on the Red Sox. Let's do it, and then we'll gamble. Here we go. Steve, take it away.
Love it.
Hi, this is Steve, the big Bowman from Lowell, Mass, commenting on the Red Sox. I'm old school. I saw the 67 Sox. These guys remind me a lot about these guys. So what I'm saying is the Red Sox, they need middle relief. Today they need middle relief pitching. They can hit, but so many times they go ahead in the ball game and middle relief lets them down. That's what they really need.
Thank you, Steve. And make sure you call us 617-790-0928. Did he say the 67 Sox? Because, listen, George and I were not around for that time. So we'll take your word. No, we'll take your word
I
for
thought
it
you
there.
and Chapman were going to Sox games together back in that day.
And our backs.
Yeah.
So, listen, I'll take your word there. But I disagree with you when you say, well, they can hit. That's all good. We need middle relief. I agree with you. I'll take any arms in the bullpen always and forever, amen. But I also would use another bat, preferably at first base. That's just me, George. What say you?
I mean, this is when I talk about their lineup. I mean, we think about the consequential at-bats we've seen with the young guys, inexperienced bats take. They need someone in that 3 spot that's a consistent masher and a consistent clutch hitter, right? That's where we want to see Josh Naylor end up being in that spot. Because with Alex Bregman back, but still dealing with his quad, that's your good number 2 or number 3 hitter. But this is still a lineup that is a little better than average, I think, in baseball. Now, with Garrett Crochet on the mound, you can be better than average because he's the best of the best. With Aroldis Chapman, when he's available, you can be that because he is one of the best closers in the game this year. This is still a lineup that needs to add. They need power outside of Alex Bregman and Willie Abreu. They need another bat. They need consistency outside of Alex Bregman. We've seen Carlos Narvaez and Abraham Toro's bats taper off. As good as Roman Anthony's been and as good as Cedric Rafael is, they need another guy. I cannot go with, well, the lineup's good. They really need to focus on a relief pitcher. No. They need a starter. And they need a bat. They need run support, and they need someone that can go the distance because that helps the bullpen, and they can bring the bullpen along.
Completely agree. As always, my friend, let's go breakfast bets here. I'm going to start with this series starting tonight, Red Sox Twins.
Okay.
I'm taking the Red Sox to win this series. I think you are now out of Murderer's Row. You have played 3 of the top 5 NL teams back to back on the road and then back at Fenway with obviously Cubs, Phillies, and Dodgers. Now, not saying it's easy, but you're back in the American League going against the Twins. You need this series. Avi, give me the Red Sox to win the series minus 115 against the Twins. What say you to that? And then give me a bet.
This is going to be an interesting series. The Red Sox, in the best way, dodged a bullet by how their starting pitching falls. It'll be Richard Fitz and Lucas Giolito. We'll see if Bayo gets a bump on that 3rd game, right? But this is putting a lot on Dick Fitz with a 5 ERA and has just 1 win this year. Like Red Sox, out of his 12 starts, they've won once or twice, I believe. And we saw him get shelled his last time out. Lucas Giolito, I don't know what he's going to be. I understand it, though, because this is the Twins. They stink. They're trying to sell softly without being loud about it. But this is still a team that can be okay. But you know what? If you're beating the Dodgers, I understand the confidence you have in beating the Twins to follow up and what they can do. And this is also a Twins team. I don't believe Joe Ryan will be facing the Red Sox either. So it's how the pitching falls. You're going to be grabbing your seat. You're going to be at the edge. I don't think it's going to be pretty. But if it comes down to Bayo in the 3rd game of this series, I like the chances.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 against Minnesota.
I think so, too.
It's again, man, what can Lucas Giolito be? And this is a get-right series now for the Red Sox because the Twins are bad. I have to have confidence they'll beat the Twins. I have to. Like, you beat the Dodgers, you took 2 or 3. You better. Now it's going back to the road. You better take 2 or 3 in Minnesota. Then they come back home, Astros, Royals.
You know what that means. Astros and Royals. You're next.
I like them. You could still get a good number on the Red Sox to make the playoffs. Minus 110.
I don't like that number. In fact,
you could have gotten better. It was plus money.
You could have gotten better. It was plus money, which we did give out on the show. I like Red Sox to reach. Stay with me.
ALCS.
ALCS at 7-1 because of what you just said.
That's a great number. 7-1.
I don't want to take them to make the playoffs now. You should have did it 2 weeks ago when we told you at plus money. So now I can't make money in that market, them just to make the playoffs. So I'm looking at the American League. Outside of the Blue Jays, who are just hot, do we really believe and trust the Blue Jays? Not no, but hail to the no. So I'm looking at the American League wide open. Big win for the Tigers last night, but the Tigers haven't been playing well. I like the Red Sox to reach the ALCS at 7-1. I'll go there and swim in those waters instead of betting them to make the playoffs, where I can't make any money now.
You know, I mean, it's -110. It was plus money. That's where it's a long shot. I can see it. If you got him before the season to make the playoffs, too, before the Alex Bregman signing, then you're looking at a nice payout. I went to the National League. I went with the last team to beat the Red Sox in the series, in the Phillies. You can still find them plus money, +110 to win the NL East. They're 1.5 games back in the Mets. The Mets continue to just absolutely slump and tank.
The Mets are metting?
Yeah, I know they're playing well as of late.
Right.
But it's a Phillies team with a really deep lineup with Zach Wheeler, who's absolutely been nails. Taijuan Walker on the back end of the rotation has been a good starting pitcher, too.
That's right.
They're top heavy with the rotation. The depth isn't the prettiest with Jesus Luzardo. But for Phillies team, 1.5 back of the Mets, and we know what they can be and the veterans they have, +110 to win their division. Like, I get that 7-1 number because you need them to get into the playoffs, win a series, get into the ALCS. And if you get in as a wild card team, see how much that benefits the teams that get that bye.
You're preaching.
I'm just going to go with the team I think that just gets in.
Now, it should be noted, all this stuff is subject to change in a couple days. Literally, the trade deadline could potentially trade everything here.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I didn't bet them here in this segment, but the Mariners going out and getting that first baseman with a pop in his bat with playoff experience in Josh Naylor broke my heart because I wanted the Red Sox to get him. But that makes them a bona fide one of those teams we're talking about in the AL too, right? So right now, George, I got to find it. Did you see the wild card standings right now this second in the American League? You got to be kidding me. There's 4 or 5 teams here at the top, a game and a half separated from each other. Yankees, Sox, Mariners, and Rangers, all a game and a half for the wild card spots. This is going to be insane coming down to the wire, my friend.
It does feel like 2021. It took down to the final series of the season. Rafael Devers with a massive home run for the Red Sox finale to the season, and it got him into the postseason. Hey, if you're playing postseason baseball, you don't got time to look left or right. You're only looking forward, and this team is young enough to not know any better. There's a magic potion to getting lucky and messing around and finding out in the postseason. I hope this Red Sox team does, man.
Amen. That's a wrap for us here on Nesson, but the party keeps going on Nesson Nation. Join us there. We're with you every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. right here on Nesson, 9 a.m. on Nesson Nation. Boston has entered the chat.